John, if you have any questions, since it's a small group, just feel free to interrupt. We'll go over real quick the weight limits of your non-slider in this, and then we'll get into the beach chair real quick. So your 3085 or your non-sliders are determined by the patient orientation. Normal 1,000, reverse 500. With your sliding table, it's dependent upon the slide. If the hand control says anything other than 0, it's 600 pounds. If we're 0 slide, we can airplane, trend, tilt, whatever we want, 1,000. And if we're level and no slide incorporated, you have 1,100 pounds. It's right here. As it relates to the shoulder table, right where the notches are.
So back to weight limits.
Yep.
On our 4085.
Yep.
If we're reverse orientation, 0 slide, 600 pounds.
600. If you reverse the patient on this bed, 600 pounds. You should never have to do that. You're only getting 1.5 inches more by reversing the patient.
As opposed to using slide function.
Yes, correct. We'll remove this. A little tip or trick, I should say, is peel this off and just set it at a 45 so you get no resistance when we put this on. We're going to peel our x-ray tops off.
There's some
Thank you for the assist.
there's some locks that gotta go on the rails first there, John.
Okay. Always verify your weight limit on your shoulder table, just to make sure. 500. So I don't know how this goes on.
Yeah.
Take it. Good. You put yours on, and I'll bang mine.
There it goes.
Well, that was anything but smooth. Tighten it down. Pull check. Place your pad back on the table. We'll bring that up. Patient comes on, we'll bring it up. There we go. You can see now the patient, with us putting it on the seat section, is clearly almost centered on the base, thus eliminating the tip hazard. That's the key. So, and it's nothing that you would have anticipated or thought of, but with the old table, the base, this is at the head section, it's reversed. So by doing it so many times with the old table, you thought take this off, put it on here, roll it, there's nothing under them. You unlocked it, and that being said, if you take anything from my in-service, it's the next 30 seconds. At no time are you to unlock this table with a patient on it with anything other than a slide of 0. I can tell you right now there's only one table in the US market that's cleared to rotate a patient. It's not this table, and it's probably not a table anywhere in this county, and there's probably not many in the state. That being said, it happens tens of thousands of times every day. If you're cognizant and verify it verbally, even though it's cheesy, are we at a slide of 0? Yes, we are. It's safe to unlock the table, unlock it, make your rotation, re-engage the floor locks, and then if you want, you can take and slide them back.
How far does that slide? What's it,
Off the center,
What's the-
9 inches
Both
each
ways?
way, so 18 total.
does it have to be up? Because sometimes we get
It does.
It has to be elevated because we have a beach chair like that,
Yep.
and it won't slide for whatever reason.
So that's a great question. When I go to slide it to the foot, it's going to stop right here. And it's going to say there's going to be an arrow that says ALS back up. Whatever it says when it stops, you perform that feature and it'll allow you to continue with your articulation. But, so bring it back up.
So that's a built-in safety feature preventing the bed from smashing into itself, basically.
Basically, yep. And if anesthesia, has it happened yet? Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Some anesthesiologists like to orient the table. When you reverse orient the table, it deactivates the level feature for the same purpose so it doesn't collide. So if we're doing a shoulder and the next case is a lat chole and he's complaining the bed isn't leveling, ask him, is there an orange button next to the floor lock or do you have 2 green? He's gonna say I have an orange. Hold it 2 seconds, it tells you to do that, and it re-engages your level feature. Be cognizant. Don't use the level feature with the beach chair. If you do, it's gonna raise these pegs right into the housing of your shoulder table, and you're gonna be paying for us and Arthrex to fix the table and your shoulder table. So do not use the level feature, just eye it up at the end of the case. What other questions you got for me?
So are there any other accessories we need to be aware of, doing anything differently between our old 3085s and the new
No.
4085?
The key is right here.
Okay, so the beach chair is the only
Yep.
accessory difference we need to be cognizant of.
Spider, whatever you're using to articulate the operative arm, that's
Yeah, I'm
good.
talking like candy canes, Allens, it's all, everything's the same.
Yep. Yep.
And then now, kind of like you mentioned yesterday, weight limits defined by accessories, not table.
Always, let me clarify that, and maybe I misspoke a little. Always apply the lowest weight limit between the table and your accessory. So if you had our orthopedic extension, so for a nailing, that's 400 pounds. Even though we're centered and it says it could be 1,000, it's 400 pounds. When we put the bumblebees on for GYN or cysto yellowfins, 500 pounds, not 600. If you apply the lowest weight limit between the table and the accessories, you'll never have an issue or get burned.
Are these other are old beds yours too?
To my knowledge,
Yes.
Okay, on those beds, when this is flattened out
Yep.
and the weight limit says, I think 600 on one of them, or is it 500? 500. We had the beach chair, and
Mhm.
set up with that was on this end.
Correct.
Why did we have it tipping with a guy that was under 400 pounds?
So you're telling me on your
beach
non-sliding table,
No, it was on this table.
exactly, because the base, if you go look at that old table, the head section is the length of the base. On the slide table, it's the foot section, so it's flip-flopped. And that's why we didn't have a counterweight, so they were over here, there's nothing underneath them, you went to unlock and you got tipped. Over here, we have the
We were
counterweight.
not locked, we were locked, and it was.
It could, yeah, if it was
because
heavy
that-
enough.
But that was on this end.
And that's
Yeah, you're
what
not
he's
supposed
saying,
to.
why is that it has to
On
be
the
on.
slider table, it always goes on the seat section.
But
You
my
move your
question
Yep.
is, the weight limit, what is the weight limit then, when you have a patient on this, and this doesn't have a tag on it, so.
Head
this
section.
says- This says 600 pounds the way it is now. And so you can, if this was flat, you could have a 600-pound patient laying on this bed and it's not gonna tip.
Correct, as long as the floor locks are engaged. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right.
The key though, in all seriousness, the key with this is if we're gonna do a shoulder on this table, the leg section has to be off and it's gonna go on the seat section. You'll never have an issue. What happened is they thought it was the old way, like you've been used to for so many years. They removed the head section and put it here. There's no counterweight because the length is down there. Even with the floor locks engaged, I could see that occurring if it was 450 pounds, getting close to that 500 threshold of your shoulder table.
We had a lady yesterday that was 437 or so,
Okay.
and this, I don't know if it was extended out here. It was set up the same as this.
It was the old bed.
I know it was the old bed, but it was similar to set up like this. But
I would say when you're gonna do a case like that, and she was short, correct?
Yeah,
she
Okay.
was all right here.
Okay.
Her legs were.
but then we needed
So I thought this-
C arm.
So, yeah, we had to
So,
put
yeah.
the head of the bed on a foot and turn the bed.
Okay, so with her being short, and you did a great job, I think I was talking with you in the hallway,
Yeah.
by trying to get her as close and still have the capability for fluoro to get in there. So I would have removed this and tried to keep her as most centered over the base as possible. The other thing you could have done is if this table was available, use this table. It's gonna give you an extra 100 pounds, and even though it doesn't seem like a lot, that makes a world of difference. But when you get in those situations, this table's in use, you have a short, large patient, you wanna try to keep them as centered as possible while still meeting your fluoro. If the floor locks are engaged on that table, it will not tip, as
Okay,
long as they're 500.
I'm still confused when
Yep.
they made the mistake and put that on this end for the shoulder,
Yep,
and the head was up. What is the difference with a shoulder patient on here or a patient laying flat with, 400-pound patient? If that 300-some pound guy was tipping.
so because when we take and put it over here, the counterweight, the counterweight of the table's underneath here, underneath the fascia. So there was nothing here. I mean, you can see right now, there's nothing out here. You can get that going, and that's what happened. That's why if I'm not here, it's
I
not
see
gonna
that
get
part,
on.
but I don't know why
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
the shoulder part was hooked onto this right here,
Yep.
and the guy was sitting up, and first of all, the bed wouldn't even, I intubate him in a beach chair position,
Okay.
and I rock him back, intubate him, and I go rock back.
Yep.
I had to push on the end of the bed to bring it up, it didn't even have the power to bring him up. That's a big comment up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one yesterday was wider than this bed.
Do you guys have the extenders for
I don't-
these?
I don't know.
No,
You need to get them. If
With
you're seeing over
with
400
extenders
pounds,
or,
it doesn't adversely affect the weight limit. So putting them on,
but it's
Yeah.
a width extender and then
with, and you only need these. You don't need the head and you don't need the leg. You need the back and seat section, and by putting them on, you don't lose anything. It holds the weight limits.
okay. Can you email me information about those cost, IFU, all that?
Yeah, I'll send that when I respond to your email. When I get back to my office, take me 30 seconds.
Okay. And then now,
Hey, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
like happened yesterday, with our table in reverse orientation,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's short. If we would have needed to keep the head section on to maintain X-ray viability,
Yeah.
it still would have been a 500
100
pound
pounds.
safety weight.
Yes,
Correct.
absolutely. If the patient's reversed, 500. There's no
Okay.
questions. It's, very,
Yeah.
unless you put on an accessory, like it's 400 and then it's 400.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you had it. Yeah. And as long as those floor locks are engaged,